Hi there, and welcome to She Spice. Samuel L. Jackson is dropping a few succulent clues about why he could have wound up on Hollywood's Scandalous Boycott, and let me let you know he's not keeping down with regards to pointing fingers at the supposed offenders. So what precisely did he say? He said somewhat less understanding with individuals that I don't feel I need to show restraint toward. So I express my genuine thoughts much more than I used to, because I used to think I get terminated now that I know I'm not the Hollywood symbol. Samuel L. Jackson has never been one to stay silent about industry treacheries. As a matter of fact, he's an incredible inverse. He's pretty much all the obscure stuff continuing and won't hesitate to get down on segregation when he sees it. He tells it straight, regardless of whether it could not necessarily help him out for setting Jackson's genuine viewpoint on Quinn and Tarantino's movie. Some time ago in Hollywood, calling attention to its absence of variety and projecting during a meeting with Vulture, Samuel L. Jackson examined different parts of his profession, incorporating his successive coordinated efforts with Quentin and Tarantino. In spite of having shown up in numerous Tarantino films, he was quite missing from quite a long time ago. In Hollywood, Jackson transparently noticed that the film highlighted not very many dark entertainers and contrasted it with the absence of variety he encountered in another movie, Greatfellas, where he felt like a rare example of dark entertainers present. The entertainer said, "Yet when I saw it sometime in the distant past in Hollywood, I mean the number of individuals of color that are in that film, perhaps 3. It was similar to observing the Greatfellas when I was in Greatfellas. It's like me and another person." When inquired as to whether he has conversed with Tarantino about the issue, the entertainer said, "No, I've just seen him once since the film emerged, and that was at my Oscar service. He arrived at that. That is the main time I've seen him, and I won't discuss some time ago in Hollywood that evening, Tarantino and Samuel L. Jackson teamed up in 1994's notable movie Raw Fiction. This was followed by their rejoining for Jackie Earthy-colored K-Bill V2 in Superb Rats as storytellers and Django Unchained. Their most recent movie together was 2015's The Scornful Eight, yet this isn't when Jackson first called out Tarantino in 2022. The regarded chief stood out as truly newsworthy for his mention of the Wonder Universe and the entertainers who possess those jobs, saying they're not celebrities showing up on an episode of The View. Jackson, who has featured in a few Tarantino films, including Raw Fiction, Django Unchained, and The Contemptuous Eight, utilized the late Chadwick Boseman as an illustration to discredit the producer's cases. Chadwick Boseman is the Dark Jaguar. You can't discredit that, and he's a celebrity. Jackson, who has additionally shown up as Superhuman Scratch Rage in a few MCU films, said that it takes an entertainer to be those specific characters, and the indication of film fame has forever been what asses and seats, what are we referring to? Jackson added that it is not a major contention for me to realize that evidently these entertainers are celebrities. Tarantino imparted his insights while on Tom Sega's film Hypothesis, web recording, contending that one of the wonders of Hollywood is that you have this multitude of entertainers who have become popular playing these characters, yet they're not famous actors. Skipper America is the star, or Thor is the star. I mean, I'm not the principal individual to say that he added what's more in a rambling exchange with a drifter in 2023. The famous Samuel L. Jackson opened up about a variety of subjects, offering crude experiences into the continuous essayist strike, the approach of computerized reasoning, his fascinating experiences with the FBI, and his sincere interpretation of the political scene, remembering his considerations for Donald Trump. The discussion started off with a conversation on the author strike, a hotly debated issue in Hollywood at the time. Jackson got straight to the point, communicating his unequivocal support for fair remuneration for scholars. I mean, the journalists should be paid, and they should be paid reasonably. He commented, featuring the need for value in an industry frequently full of monetary differences, changing consistently to the hang strike and the ghost of computerized reasoning. Jackson exhibited his brand name mind and shrewdness by reviewing his encounters with CGI and movement-catching innovation, especially in blockbuster establishments like Star Wars and the Wonder Realistic Universe. He cleverly related his underlying disarray after being checked for the ghost threat, and whenever I first got filtered for George Lucas, I resembled What's This, for he gave revealing insight into the steadily advancing scene of filmmaking and the possible ramifications for entertainer. Inheritances as the discussion went towards a lighter area. Jackson dug into his melodic inclinations, offering a brief look into the mixed soundtrack of his life, from the stone hints of his childhood, including the zapping exhibitions of dark musical gang Mother's Best, to his appreciation for current hip jump Jackson's melodic preferences demonstrated as different as his filmography. He said, "There's some music of my childhood that I actually stand by listening to. I like exciting music. I was somewhat of a radical during the 60s and in the 70s. When I was in Atlanta, there was this dark musical crew called Mother's Best. They played at Alex Cool's Electric Assembly Hall. I pay attention to a ton of current hip bounce. Additionally, some of the time I'll turn on a spatial DJ on Mac Music to listen to anything that's there. Presently, I'm available to everything with the exception of country. The individual hip bounce music is extremely intriguing to me. Back when Juice WRLD was alive, I paid attention to that the youngster was having a few issues, yet he music was still great. I asked my girl and her companions who their Stevie Miracle was, and they said Usher. They didn't say Beyonce, they said Usher." Jackson likewise gave charming bits of knowledge into his contribution to Wonder's artistic universe and his job as Scratch Fierceness in projects like Mystery Attack. Jackson uncovered that he hadn't pushed for an independent Scratch Wrath project, but rather communicated worries about his personality's endurance. He likewise expressed interest in investigating Wrath's covert operative past in secret Attack, depicting it as a leverer from customary superhuman stories. He said, "My greatest worry with Wonder was attempting to hold them back from killing me more than whatever else. I sort of liked the gig when they called me in to let me know what was happening. I generally thought they were attempting to dispense with me. They didn't allow me to go to Wakanda, which I was somewhat annoyed about. How should Scratch Rage not know about Wakanda? They said, well, you truly are aware, yet you can't go. I generally needed to recount who Scratch was before he had these hero companions when he resided in the Shadow World as a covert agent and how he was associated with these individuals' secret attacks. This isn't a superhuman film. It's coarse and dim, pondering his unforeseen excursion as Scratch Wrath since Iron Man." Jackson conceded to being shocked by the lifespan of his depiction, surpassing the introductory assumptions he imparted that agreement talks with Wonder were individualized for each film. However, generally speaking, he felt genuinely redressed anyway. He regretted botched open doors, for example, not showing up in Commander America. Nationwide conflict. Jackson's words on his Wonder contract exchanges were that each arrangement was debatable and each film was an arranged arrangement. He recognized the intricacies of the cycle and noticed that while he felt repaid genuinely, generally speaking, there were occasions like passing up nationwide conflict that left him needing greater clarity. Jackson likewise examined his cooperation with Brie Larson in The Wonders and commended her flexibility in confronting reactions from specific fragments of the Wonder fan. He featured her solidarity in surviving and her misanthropic reactions, stressing her credibility in the midst of misfortune. Brie is a more grounded individual than individuals give her credit, for we had done Kong together, which was not the most magnificent experience for both of us. He said, prior to adding, we became extraordinary companions during that specific experience, since we were struggling then when she was doing her film Unicorn Store and attempting to get a specific entertainer. I was in the cosmetics trailer with her and was like, for what reason are you attempting to employ this other entertainer and doing what? Whatever it takes not to inspire me to do your film. She said, I didn't think you'd at any point make it happen. So will you? And I was like, how about we do it? Then we reinforced through the political race while we were doing her film. When Donald Trump won, she was broken and I resembled, don't allow him to break your must areas of strength for B. Then, when she got Commander Wonder, she called me and resembled, they need me in the Wonder universe. Ought to I get it done? And I resembled Hellfire. No doubt, how about we get it done yet? She won't let any of that stuff obliterate her. These incel fellows who disdain resilient ladies or the way that she's a women's activist who has an assessment and communicated it. Everyone believes that individuals should be who they believe that they should be. She is the sort of person she is, and she's really that. Samuel L. Jackson pondered his job as an attendant at Martin Luther King Jr.'s burial service, revealing insight into his experience as an understudy at Morehouse School during that strong crossroads in history. He described how, as an understudy, he was called upon to help with the burial service plans, essentially on the grounds that the occasion was hung nearby. Obligation came closely following an excursion to Memphis to partake in a walk. Subscribe She Spice for more videos.